Hey folks, this is Aaron. I just want to do a real quick instructional video on a basic skill for constructing with ceramics, and that's rolling a slab. Whatever your ceramics project is, if you're not using a wheel or slip casting or something like that, if you're hand building with clay, you're going to be using just a few basic techniques, either pinch, coil, or slab. And if you're building with the slab, you need to know how to roll a good slab. So here's the basics for you. From the chunk of clay that's purchased directly from wherever you're getting your clay, or that's been wedged up and ready to go, slice off a big piece. The assumption here is that this clay is already wedged and it doesn't have air pockets in it, and so I just use this wire cutter to slice off a chunk. Now, if depending on the size of slab that you need, cutting off more or less obviously is something that you need to think about. And if it's a thicker piece that you're putting on here, or a ball of clay that you've wedged up, you really do need to take a little bit of time to just start pressing it out. You don't want to take like a big lump of clay and start going at it with a rolling pin. So pressing out the slab a little bit to start spreading it out. In this case, since I've taken a fairly small piece off of this block, I don't have to do that a lot, but that's something to consider for sure. You can certainly kind of flatten it out a little bit by slapping it down on your board as well. Now, an important consideration is what surface you're rolling this on. I prefer what you're looking at here, a board that has canvas stretched over it. It's easy to work. I can pick it up and move it around. Second to this would be rolling out on a piece of cloth. And you could certainly roll out on a piece of paper or a piece of plastic. But if you roll your slab directly on a table, it's probably going to stick, and it's just going to cause some frustrations for you. The next thing that you want to think about is what size you're rolling your slab. Although it's certainly not required, one of the things I enjoy using are some pieces of wood that are going to be guides for the thickness of the slab that I'm going to make. These are about 3/8 of an inch thick, and I have 1/4 inch as well if I'm working on a smaller project. But laying these on either side of the clay that I'm working with, and then using my rolling pin to roll this out and work the clay down until the rolling pin is solidly against these boards, is going to ensure that I have a consistent thickness in my slab, which will just make my construction that much better in the end. So rolling this out and trying to have some consistent pressure so that I'm getting this even, working down the areas that are too thick, and definitely making sure to rotate it so that I'm turning the direction that I'm rolling. Even though I have these to change the direction will help even out the slab, and in addition, turning the direction of your rolling is going to determine which way the clay stretches. You might have noticed as I roll it going this way, it'll stretch out a little bit this way or that way, so to get the rectangle that you want, just working it down. And now you might be able to even hear a little bit that my rolling pin is directly down on these wood slats, and so I know I have a nice consistent slab. Sometimes I'll even just turn it again just to be sure. Flipping it upside down is great. One of the things you want to avoid is if there's a shape that you don't, a size you don't like, or a shape you don't like. Let's say I wanted this to be a little bit wider, and I'm like, oh dang, I needed a little bit more over here. To just take a clump of clay and slap it down here and then just try to attach that is likely going to create weaknesses in that slab, which is going to potentially result in failures in your end piece. So you want to make sure that you're rolling out the right amount so that you have a slab that's going to serve your purposes. And making sure that it's nice and smooth. Once you have that slab, it's just a matter of setting it aside, laying it out, and giving it some time to set up to leather hard before you start cutting and constructing with your other slab pieces to build whatever your project may be. Hope this is helpful as a basic introduction to rolling a slab. Please check out other videos to see the other skills that you can learn.